we're going to be very interactive tonight. Interactive. So I'm going to be using that chat, asking you a bunch of questions as we go. As you can see from my screen, we have 98 slides to cover. This is the first time I'm giving this presentation. I asked a few of my actually people on Facebook, some of my Facebook followers. I said, "How do you feel about social media?" And their responses kind of surprised me. And I said, "You know what? I think I'm going to do a training on how to write your book without social media." See, the publishing industry says you have to use social media. And actually, that's not true. And so I wanted to go live and do this training for you tonight on December 9th to say you don't have to use social media. Now, can social media help? Of course it can. Of course it can, because it's supposed to be social media, right? It's supposed to be connecting to real people. But that's not really what it's become. It's really about being famous. And that's not what I'm all about. I don't know about you, but that's probably not what you're about. You're probably about sharing your story, knowing that you have this message to share. And social media can really feel overwhelming, right? Let me check the chat here. Yeah. Kathy says sometimes social media can be helpful, but sometimes it's a drain. Shirley says, I use it a lot for actual things I need to tell friends and family. I don't hate it. I just don't want to let it sacrifice my meaningful life. That's so familiar. Yes, and of course it is. Yeah. We want you to write meaningful words without sacrificing your meaningful life. Write meaningful words without sacrificing your meaningful life. If you want that to be true, you want to write meaningful words without sacrificing your meaningful life. Just type in me in the chat. That's me. I want to write meaningful words without sacrificing my meaningful life. That's right. That's right. I don't think any of us want to spend our whole life on social media, but we do want to share a message that matters, a message that I believe that God has given me, right? That there is a story that I need to share. At Hope Books, we often say that your hard story can become your hope story. And as we get started in just a few minutes, first of all, I want to tell you I'm glad you're here. My name is Brian Dixon, and tonight we're going to talk about how to write your book without social media. So, welcome, you made it. You're in the right place. There's a lot of people that sign up but never show up, and you showed up tonight. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to be about an hour or so. I sometimes I share the recording, sometimes I don't. This is a new presentation for me, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be sharing the recording. I'd rather you just be here live with me. Just be present. Use that chat. We're going to be chatting. I'm going to ask you questions, and you can type in the chat. I won't be able to see you or hear you because there's quite a lot of people on live with me right now, but I will be able to see that chat. Just keep it respectful. And I've got a lot to cover tonight. I want to give you some value, share some training with you, and then I'm also going to make you an offer. I'm going to invite you to come sign up for Hope Books at the end. I believe that Hope Books is the best place, the best way for you to publish your book in 2024. In 2025, can you believe it? It's almost 2025. So yes, I'm going to tell you about Hope Books at the end. And I want to make sure that you have great training. Okay, great training so that you can move forward. Does that sound like a deal? If that sounds like a good deal, type in deal, DEAL in the chat. That sounds like a deal. Yeah, we're using the chat. There we go. Awesome, awesome. I'm so glad that you're here. Ashley says deal, Kathy, deal, Becky, Mindy, Heather, Caroline, welcome. If you haven't introduced yourself yet, we're officially going to get started. Here we go. Yeah, you know what? And if you already signed up for Hope Books like Shirley, you're still going to get a lot of value from tonight's training. Okay? You're still going to get value. In fact, if you're already a Hope writer, type an HW in the chat. If you're a Hope Books author, type an HB for Hope Books. I'm so glad that you're here. Yeah, you're in the right place. You're in the right place because you know what? I think in life, like a lot of things, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught, right? And so some of this might just be feel like a reminder, but I think that's also really important, right? Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you guys are here. Colleen is here, Nancy's here, Jillian is here, Gina's here. Awesome. I'm so glad that y'all are here. Yes. And it's so funny. We have a bunch of Hope Books authors with us tonight. So y'all can just kind of answer people's questions too, which is going to be really fun. Awesome. Yeah, let me know where you're calling in from, and we're going to get started in just a minute or two. My name is Brian Dixon, and tonight we're going to cover how to write your book without social media. Hannah is calling in from Wisconsin, Shannon from Denmark. Where's everybody from? Let me know in the chat. Go ahead and type it again so I can say hello. Debs is here from San Diego, Ali from Colorado, Caroline from Oregon, Jillian from Australia. Hey, Jillian, good to see you. I know Jillian. Tamiko is here. Let's see. I'm using my small screen tonight, so I'm having to scroll. From Austin, Nicole from Colorado, Lynn from Wisconsin, Jackie's here from Illinois, Gloria from Wisconsin, Gina from Montana, Jenny from Australia. This is so fun. I've been doing these trainings during the day and now doing it at night. We've got a lot more international people, which is really fun. Awesome. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's the deal. All right. I'm going to go fast. I'm going to make sure there's a ton of content that's covered. And I want to do something special for you. Okay. I want to do something special for you. I normally don't do this, but because I have a lot of content to cover, I want to be able to talk fast. So I want to make sure that you get the value. So if you post your email in the chat, I'll make sure that our team sends you the slides. That sound like a good deal? So yeah, to put your email in the chat and we'll make sure to send this slide deck with for you. Okay. So I might not share the recording, but I'll definitely send you the PDF of the slides. Okay. Yeah. Just type in your email. I'll give you just one more minute for that. Just type in your email and I will send the slides to you. Of course, I still want you to be here because we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be about an hour tonight. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome. Yeah. Thank you so much for typing that email in. That helps us communicate with you. I'm so glad that you're here. Man, we've got 70 people. How cool is this? In 2024, on Monday night, December 9th, you could do anything. You could be watching Christmas movies. You could be watching Netflix. You could be doing other things. But instead, you showed up here to write your book. And so I just want to get to know you a little bit as we get started. There we go. Okay, let me brag on Carrie first, because Carrie just passed a milestone tonight, and I was gonna message her. She doesn't even know this yet, y'all. But Carrie's book just came out just a couple weeks ago, and guess what? She just crossed the 1,000 books sold. We call that the 1K award. How cool is that? Type in "so cool" in the chat. Carrie published a book with Hope Books. It's actually a novel, which is really cool. Crisis of Faith. And she just sold over 1,000. I just heard tonight she sold, I think I have the number, 1,141 books. 1,141 books. Think about that. 1,141 people. 1,141 people reading your book. What would that mean? What would that mean to you? What would that mean to you? Type it in the chat. Let me know. Imagine you finally write and publish your book, and there are more than 1,000 people reading your words. Just take a second. Let's just slow down here. I feel like we're going so fast. Let's just slow down. I want you to just imagine your book is out in a year from now, and you just sold over 1,000 books, 1,000 people reading your words of hope, benefiting from your story. What would that mean for you? Just take a minute to write that in the chat. I would love to read a few of your responses and just encourage you tonight. That's right. Missy says it would be a dream. It would be amazing that I didn't fail. Jillian said, I'd be so blown away, but so good that I could help so many more people. Nancy says, I'd be speechless. I love that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Tamiko, I agree with you. Yeah. Elisa says, I'd feel like this hard health story had been redeemed. Redeemed. I love that. Amazing. Yeah, I want to speak to all of you, but I especially want to let you know that this training tonight, let me just, hello everybody, good to see you. This training tonight is really for you. Um, if you've been dreaming for a long time to write your book. In fact, let me ask you, okay, how long have you been dreaming about writing and publishing your book? Just type it in the chat. Has it been a few months? Has it been like a year? Has it been a couple years? Like, let me just know in the chat. How long have you been dreaming about writing and publishing a book? Amazing, amazing. Okay, I definitely need glasses. Just see decades, Heather says. Deborah says 8 years. Alicia says since I was 10. No joke, since I was 10. Amazing. 40 years, Jackie. Okay. Now, let me ask you one more question. One more question. Okay. You're now 80, 85, 90 years old. Okay. My grandmother's 98 years old. So you're now 98 years old and you're looking back in your life and you look at that bookshelf of all the books that you've published are on your bookshelf, all the books that you've published. How many books do you plan on publishing in your life? How many books? We're talking about your novel, your memoir, your devotional, your story, that series. I mean, how many books do you dream about publishing? Yeah, Hannah says 10, Kristen 3, Sophia 20. Amazing. Yeah, Jennifer, hey, that's cool. That's cool. I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I just want to focus a little bit tonight. I want to focus. So, specifically, here's who I want to speak to tonight. Okay. I want to speak to you if you've been dreaming about writing a book for more than 5 years and you want to write and publish at least two books. Okay. If that's you, just type in, that's me. That's me. Type in, that's me in the chat. You've been dreaming about writing and publishing a book for more than 5 years and you're planning on writing and publishing at least two books in your lifetime. Okay. At least two books in your lifetime. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, more than at least two, right? I said more than 5 years you've been dreaming about it and you want to write and publish at least two books. Okay. That's specifically who I want to talk to tonight. Now, if you've already published a book, this will be helpful for you. Um, if you only want to write one book, this would be helpful for you. If you've just been thinking about writing a book for like a couple of years, this will be helpful for you. But specifically, I want to talk to those of you that have been dreaming about writing a book for more than 5 years. Because the Bible says, hope deferred, finish the sentence if you know the answer. Hope deferred what? Hope deferred. In other words, waiting and waiting and waiting for something that you're hoping for to come true, but it hasn't come true yet. Hope deferred makes, you got it. Y'all are my Bible people, right? Makes the heart sick. And so some of you might be feeling right now that your heart's a little sick. You're like, oh, I really want to write and publish my book, and it's not happening right now. And now people are telling me I have to post on TikTok. Like that sounds exhausting. So if you feel like your heart is sick right now, you're feeling unfulfilled when it comes to you're following your calling, just say that's me. That's me in the chat. Yeah, that's me. I feel unfulfilled. I feel like my heart's a little sick when it comes to writing and publishing. Listen, my friends, I have a dream. Okay. My dream at Hope Books is to publish 1,000 books in the next 10 years. 1,000 books in the next 10 years. And not just to publish those books, I'm going to share my screen again, but to help our authors sell 1,000 copies like Carrie. Carrie just published her book with us a couple of weeks ago, and she crossed 1,000 books published, 1,000 books sold. Sorry, 1,000 books sold. If you do the math on that, 1,000 books published, 1,000 copies sold. That's 1 million hope-filled books going out in the world. How cool is that? We have three children, and my youngest is in third grade. So in 10 years from now, he'll graduate high school, which is crazy. So by the time Hudson graduates high school, I want to see you and 999 of your friends publish their book and sell 1,000 copies. Does that sound awesome? Just type in the chat. That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. I want to invite you to be part of this. This is a movement. I believe that the world needs your hope-filled words more now than ever before. And if you've been dreaming about publishing your book for more than 5 years and you feel like your heart's a little sick right now, you're just like, oh, I don't know if this is ever going to happen. I want to change that tonight. Okay. I want to change this tonight. I want to tell you that you can write and publish your book without social media. So that's why we're here tonight. Okay. That's why we're here. Awesome. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it doesn't have to be faith-based. Hope Books isn't just faith-based. We just believe in hope. You know, if you have helpful, optimistic, personal, and equipping, if you have a message that's helpful for other people, you have a message that's optimistic, you have a message that's personal, it's your story, or you have a message that equips other people to move forward in their life, those are the kind of books that we publish. HOPE, helpful, optimistic, personal, and equipping. Hope. Type in hope if you're with me. Hope. Let's get started. 84 people live with us. How cool is this? Oh my goodness. I'm so glad that you're here. So I want you to know, as we get started, I want you to know that you have a story worth telling. In fact, I want you to type this right here in the chat. Type this with me in the chat. Type it in the chat. I have a story worth telling. I want you to know that your words are important, that thoughts and ideas can change the world, and that your message matters, and that you have a story worth telling. It might not feel that way sometimes. It might not feel that way, but you have a story worth telling. That's right. I love it. Deborah took it to the next level. She said, I have a story God wants me to tell. Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you. I have a story worth telling. You have a story worth telling. That's why we're here tonight, because you have a story worth telling. And so, the question I have for you, Teresa and others, the question I have for you is, what would it mean for you to tell your story? Type it in the chat. What would it mean for you to tell your story? That's funny. Tamika says, I've been seeing that word hope everywhere, and then I got a random email. I don't believe in random, my friend. I love it. What would it mean for you to tell your story? Maybe it was providential. Yeah. What would it mean for you to tell your story? That's right. Judy says, mission accomplished. uh Jasaria, hopefully I said that right, said I tackled some of the mission. Uma says it would mean that I'm able to tell my story. Teresa, obedience. Deborah, to be able to show how God, where did you go? How God can work in your life. I love that. Hannah said it would mean freedom for others to live in their true identity. Tina says, writing my story would mean knowing that my story had a purpose and others will be encouraged in their journey. I love it. Y'all, you know what's so interesting is all your responses that are not about you, which means you're people of hope. So the Bible verse says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desired fulfilled, do you know the rest of this verse? A desire fulfilled does anybody know this? A desire fulfilled. I'm looking for the answer in the chat. There you go. You got it. You got it. You got it. Come on. Type it if you know it. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life. Type in tree of life in the chat. Tree of life. Tree of life. Your book, your words, your message getting out into the world can be like a tree of life. We own a bookstore called Hope Books in Matthews, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte. We opened up 3 months ago. It's amazing to own a bookstore. I love, we hope we have all the books that we've published and then other books we recommend. And we have a kids section. And in the kids section, we have a book called The Giving Tree. Giving Tree. Have you heard of that book before? Type in me in the chat if you heard of The Giving Tree. And I love that story. And I think about your book as like the giving tree. I think about your story written down and published as something that can make an impact for generations to come. That your story can be like a legacy for other people, right? That's what we're talking about tonight. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about social media. We're talking about your story, sharing your story. What would it mean to them, for you to tell your story? If you were to tell your story, what would it mean to your children's children? What would it mean to your kids? We have got Christmas coming up, and I just think about one of the best gifts that you can give. One of the best gifts that you can give is your story. Can you imagine? Can you imagine in 1 year from now? In 1 year from now, around Christmas time, you're wrapping a brand new present. I just want you to picture this for a second. Let's just slow down tonight, okay? Let's just slow down. I want you to picture in 1 year from today, you're wrapping your Christmas gifts, and one of those gifts is your published book. And you're going to give a copy to your mom, your daughter, your sister. What would that mean for you? Let me know in the chat. I really want to hear from you tonight. Imagine. I want you to know that that's possible. Okay, next year is 2025. So December 25th, 2025. How cool is that? 12/25/25. You have now, all the gifts have been given and we kind of wrapped up for the day and everybody thinks it's over and you say, wait a second, I have one more gift, right? I have one more gift. And you go to the closet and you pull out that bag and you hand everybody a copy of your book. How cool would that be? Wouldn't that be so cool? I want to help you make that happen. Mary says it would give me joy. Sophia says, another way to keep my loved ones close by. Amazing. Caroline says, I'm assuming you mean your mom, maybe your sister, maybe your daughter. She would be proud, encouraged, and relieved. Bethany says, I would cry and they would cry and we'd all be so happy. Let's make it happen. Can we do that? Can we get this started? Let's get this started. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is like a tree of life that you could write and publish your book without social media. That's why we're here tonight. What a blessing. I'm so glad that y'all are here. Thank you for taking the time to be with me tonight. What a privilege. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. One day this is going to be you. Wow, that took a left turn. One day this is going to be you. Your life is like a vapor. You're not here very long. You're here for a limited time only. You have a short amount of time to make a big deal, to make a big difference, to share your words of hope. See, we all end up here. All of us don't have that much time, right? And one of the tragedies that I've seen time and time again, I've been doing this for 11 years now. One of the tragedies I've seen is people going to the grave with their song still in their heart. It's such a tragedy. In the last 4 years, I've had five friends pass away. Heart attacks in their 40s, heart attacks, suddenly cancer. And it's so sad to know that they had a story to share that never got told. How tragic is that to go to the grave with your song still in your heart? This is my little family right here. This is right here in the picture here in the middle. My daughter was in a musical recently, and one of my youngest is not in this picture. But yeah, this is me. This is my wife of 22 years. My dad, he's an author. My mom was a school teacher. My kiddos, and then this right here. This is my why right here. This is my grandmother, Mary. She is 98 years old. Type in 98 if you're with me in the chat. 98 years old. And I gotta tell you something really cool. In August, I came out with my fifth book. Okay. In August, I came out with my fifth book. It's called Your Hope Story. It's about helping you tell your story. Some of you might even have a copy of it. Okay. Your Hope Story. Guess who I gave it to? I gave a copy of Your Hope Story to my grandmother. I call her Nanny. Okay. So I gave a copy to Nanny, to Mary, 98 years old. Guess what she did? Type in the chat if you know it. Guess what she did with this book? Yeah. Guess what she did? Type in the chat if you think you know. Yeah. She didn't just read it, she highlighted it. She highlighted it. My 98-year-old grandmother read my book. And every time we see her every Sunday after church, she's just a couple miles down the road. And every Sunday for weeks, we'd go see her. And I would always notice that the bookmark, the little pink index card that she had in the book, that had moved. And I would sneak a little peek in her book, and she was highlighting parts of the book. How cool is that? How cool is that, right? That's possible for you as well. Now, maybe your grandmother's not around. I know I'm very blessed for my 98-year-old grandmother to be here. But there's somebody in your life right now that would mean the world for you and for them to hold your copy of your book. Who's that person? Type it in the chat. Who is that person in your life that you would love to give a copy of your book to? Who is that person? Yeah, just type it in the chat. Kristen says my daughters. Judy says my spouse. Yeah, Hannah says my mom. Yeah, somebody says myself. Hey, that's great. Tina says my birth mom. Wow, there's a story there. Wow, Carolyn, that's a story. Yeah, amazing. Hmm. Tamiko. Wow, that's powerful. So that's what I want you to picture. That's why we're here tonight. It's not about getting famous on social media or learning the new TikTok trend or the Instagram story strategy or the Facebook hack. That's not why we're here. Why we're here is because you have a message of hope to share. Okay? You have a message of hope to share. And I believe that that message needs to be in a book and that book needs to be shared with your friends and with your family. That one day, I love this picture here. Because what I see when I see this picture is I don't see my daughter. I see my son's daughter. And my son's only 15. Okay. I see my children's children when I see this picture. And you know what the Bible says? The Bible says a righteous person leaves an inheritance to his children's children. I think of my story as an inheritance, as an inheritance. I think about my story as a legacy. And that's what's possible for you to leave your story, to share your story with other people. Yeah, that's true, Sophia. Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, so I want to tell you a quick story. In 1961, this book was published. This book was published in 1961. Now, this might not mean a lot to you, but it means a lot to me. So I want to tell you this story real quick, okay? We found this book called True Revival, Six Messages by George T. Stevens. We found this book in a box in our basement last December. So a year ago, a year ago. Okay. Actually, 1962 is when it came out, but it was written in 1961. Type in 1962 if you're with me here live in the chat. 1962. Okay. 1962, this book came out. Now, I'm a book guy. Okay. I'm a book guy. We publish books. I coach writers on how to write books. I've written 5 books myself. I did not know about this book. I did not know about this book until last December. Until last December. Now, if we do the quick math, okay, 2024 minus 1962 is, there we go. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. 62 years ago. 62 years ago. Did you know 62 years ago, there's a guy named George T. Stevens who wrote a book 62 years ago, and it was called True Revival, Six Messages. And he talked about evangelism and revival and all kinds of really interesting topics in the church at that time in 1962. Well, guess what? This guy, George T. Stevens, was my wife's father's father's father. So her great grandfather, okay? Great grandfather. Isn't that amazing? My wife's great grandfather wrote this book in 1962. Little did he know that 62 years later, I mean, I never met the guy. He passed away before we got married. We've been married 22 years, okay? Little did he know that 62 years later, after writing this book, which he happened to self-publish, which would have been really hard back then, okay? 62 years later, his great granddaughter's husband would read the book. How cool is that? If you're with me, type in so cool, so cool. Can you imagine you writing your book in 2025 and in 62 years from now, your great granddaughter's husband reading your book? I mean, how amazing would that be, right? And that's my story. And I believe that you have a story like that for in the future for you. That by you writing your book, even without social media, by you writing your book, that you can leave a legacy to your children's, children's spouse. Okay. How cool is that? Now, what's really interesting, yeah, 60, it's published in 62 and now 62 years later. It's true. So that is what we're talking about tonight. Yeah, yeah, that's right. That is what we're talking about tonight, Amy, is writing your book, the power of writing your book. See, writing and publishing your hope story can change your life, can change your income, and can leave a legacy. Writing and publishing your hope story can change your life, your income, and leave a legacy. And so now let's get to why we're here. We're here to help you write your book without social media. See, I think it's really important to talk about the why before we talk about the what. So you need to be clear on your why. And I would challenge you that your why is legacy. Type that in the chat. My why equals legacy. The reason for you to write your book isn't necessarily income or the impact, but it's actually leaving a legacy. My why equals my legacy. Because I think that reason is what's going to outlast all the challenges that you face when it comes to writing your book, when it comes to investing in your book, when it comes to the time to write your book, when it comes to the writer's block and the editing and all that. If you're clear on your why, the how will appear. And the why, you have to start with why, right? Your why equals my legacy. That's right. So now let's talk about the what. The what is how to write your book without social media. See, the truth is the publishing industry has it backwards. The publishing industry is broken. It's really outdated. The traditional publishing industry is broken. Now, let me explain what I'm talking about here. The publishing industry is focused on short-term results. Did you know that most books in the traditional publishing industry only sell the majority of their copies in the first 2 weeks? Isn't that crazy? They call that a book launch. Type in book launch if you're with me. See, that's what the traditional publishing industry teaches. They say what you need to do is you need to launch your book. You need to try to sell a whole bunch of copies in a short amount of time. But the truth is, book launches are exhausting. Book launches are frustrating. And book launches are very short term thinking. But that's what the publishing industry teaches. In fact, authors are told to build a platform before writing their book. If you've ever heard that word platform, just type in me in the chat. Platform, right? This is probably familiar to many of you. This is what the publishing industry teaches. And I hate it. Can I say that? Is that okay? I hate it. The idea that you have to build a huge email list, you have to build a social media following, you have to get internet famous in order to write a book is kind of garbage. I just don't like it at all, right? That is what they talk about when they say writing a platform, building a platform. That's why, my friends, I believe that the publishing industry is broken because they're saying that you have to do all these things before you can write your story. But if you believe that God has given you a story to share, but you have to wait for TikTok to approve of you, that just sounds really backwards. If you agree, just type in broken. That sounds broken. Just type in broken. That sounds broken. That the publishing industry is focused on short-term results and it's all about building a platform. That's right. That's right. I believe it's broken. I believe it's broken. See, I believe that good coaches tell the truth, and I'm just telling the truth tonight. I hope that's okay. I'm gonna kind of crack some eggs tonight, but I just want to tell you the truth. Okay. Here's the thing. Many authors face rejection because they don't have a large audience. Many authors, heart-based authors, authors who have a story to share, maybe it's a cancer journey, maybe it's a divorce story, maybe it's a story of faith, maybe it's a story of loss and rekindled love, maybe it's a novel. But here's the thing, so many authors face rejection because they don't have a large audience, right? Yeah, that's a good point, Kim. So that's why the publishing industry is broken. Are you with me? If you're with me, just type in with you. I'm with you, Brian. I'm with you. Just type in with you in the chat. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So what's the solution? Well, let me tell you my book story. See, I attended writing conferences and I pitched my book. Have you ever heard of that? Pitch your book. In fact, I went to writing conference after writing conference after writing conference, and I tried to build my platform. And you know what happened? What happened? I'm going to type this in the chat. This is just so sad. Okay? You want to see this? 17 times. 17 times. I got a rejection letter. And you know what? Most of them were photocopied. I mean, how offensive is that? I poured my blood, my sweat, my tears into these book proposals, trying to do the song and dance. Pick me, pick me. I've got an important message to share. I can help you. I want to work with you, big publisher. And yet, 17 times I was rejected by publishers. Multiple ideas, all rejected, rejected, rejected. I'd go to these writing conferences. I pitch my book. I remember this one time, I met with this guy and he was just not nice at all. he's kind of mean about it. And he started flipping through my book proposal and he went all the way to the section that said my audience. And I had less than 200 people on my email list. And guess what he did? He laughed at me. He laughed at me. And I was trying to write a book that was going to help middle school boys grow in their faith. Middle school boys grow in their faith. That's what my book was about. It's called Daily Living in the Lion's Den. It was a devotional for middle school boys to help them grow in their faith. And I shared it with an agent and he laughed in my face. That is the traditional publishing industry. And that is what I faced as a small author. I hate that word small because I know that my story is so much bigger than my platform. I want you to type that in the chat. My story is bigger than my platform. I think we all need to hear that tonight. My story is bigger than my platform. Thank you, Jackie. Type it in the chat if you're with me. My story is bigger than my platform. That's right. My story is bigger than my platform. See, I believe in a God who uses the faith of a mustard seed, right? I believe in a God who uses the widow's mite. I believe in a God who uses, what is it, 3 fish and 2 loaves? That's who I believe in. I believe in a God who doesn't need a huge platform to share an important message. And so I want to just call out the publishing industry and say, I think it's broken. I think it's broken. And my story is going to writers' conferences and pitching my books. Publishers weren't interested in my idea. They only wanted to see my audience size. And that moment showed me that something needed to change. Something needed to change. And so I have some good news for you, my friends. The good news I have for you tonight, the new opportunity I have for you tonight is that there is a new way. If you're with me, type in new way. There is a new way. There is a new way to write and publish your book. And it's not about building a platform and getting picked by a publisher. That is the old way. There is a new way. Instead of building your audience, you build your book. Let me say that one more time. Instead of building your audience, you build your book. Type it with me if you're with me. Type it in the chat. Build your book. I want to build my book. I'm going to build my book before I build my audience. That's the new way. And at Hope Books, we're seeing this work. We're seeing authors sell thousands of copies of their books, and they didn't start with their audience. They started by building their book first. Yeah, build my book. I'm a book builder, Kim says. I with you. Okay, so I call this the book first method. This is the key right here. That's what I came to teach. We're at 8:35 here. I hope this has been helpful for you so far. If this has been helpful, type in helpful in the chat. Has this been helpful? I want to make sure that I give you some good value tonight. Yeah, just type in helpful if this has been helpful. So tonight I want to share with you the book first method. The book first method is something we've created at Hope Books, and it took us like 10 years to figure out, a really long time to figure out. Okay. So here's what you do with the book first method. You write your book first, and then you build your audience. Write your book first, then you build your audience. So the question is why? Building an audience without a book is incredibly hard. Building an audience without a book is incredibly hard. And in fact, what we've done for the last 2 years at Hope Books and the last 9 years in Hope Writers is we've told our members, build an audience, get the attention of a publisher or get the attention of a bunch of readers, and then have a big book launch. And I have to tell you, I have changed my mind. The evidence is so clear. The evidence is so clear that that is the backwards way to do it. That's the old way to do it. But instead, what works today is you write your book first and then you use your book to build your audience. Okay? That's the book first method. A book gives you the credibility, the focus, and a clear message to attract your readers. Does that sound like freedom? If that sounds like freedom, type in freedom in the chat. That sounds like freedom. You write your book first. So the question is, how do I write my book without social media? The answer is you write your book. You write your book first, and then you use your book to share your message. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. You write your book first, and then you use your book for credibility, for focus, and to share that message with your readers. Now, here's the thing. Why is this easier than the old way? It's easier because you can mind your book for diamonds. Mine your book for diamonds. What I mean by that is you can go through your copy of your book, through your manuscript, and you can look for quotes. And guess what? You can share those quotes on social media, but you don't do it before you write your book. You do it after you've written your book. Because when you share your quotes from your book on social media, then you can say, that's from my new book that you can order over here. Do you get it? So you're giving someone somewhere to go. If you build your social media before your book, they have nowhere to go. But if you write your book first, then they can see that quote or that clip, that paragraph, that snippet, that sample, and then they can say, I want to get more. You can say, great, you can get more in my book. That's why this is easier. You can mine your book for diamonds. And the cool thing is, once your book is out, then you can get podcasts and media bookings. You can go on podcasts because you have something to talk about because you have your book. You can get credibility as a published author because your book is now out. So the answer for social media is that you can use your book. Okay, you can use your book. Type in with me if you're with me in the chat. Use my book. I want to use my book on social media instead of building social media and then writing my book. Okay, I want to use my book. What are you going to write about on social media? You use your book. How am I going to grow my audience on social media? You use your book. How am I going to get podcast interviews? You use your book. How am I going to build my audience? I use my book. So guess what? You got to have your book first. You got to have your book first. That's why I'm here tonight to tell you now is the time to write your book. Now is the time. Not until you become internet famous, not until you have 1,000 followers on Instagram or 10,000 people on TikTok. No, you use your book. You use your book, and then you can schedule your social media posts. Did you know that you don't ever have to log into social media because you can use a scheduler? You can use a scheduler. What I mean by that is you can copy content from your book, put it in the scheduler, and it automatically sends it out. That's right. Like every day or every other day or every Friday, you can copy portions of your book and you can put them in your scheduler and it'll just put it out on Facebook and put it out on Instagram. Yeah, and that's so cool. So cool. Okay, using your book, here's the better part. You don't have to use social media, Gloria, because you can let somebody else use social media. You can say, hey, here's a copy, here's a Word document, here's my PDF of my book. I want you to find the best parts and you create the post. You just copy my content and you put it on my social media. Do you get it? Okay. And you can use your book. And about one book is about a year of social media. What if you could just snap your fingers and say, I have all my social media done for a year? How cool would that be? One book equals 1 year. One book equals 1 year. You write your book, and then you can take all the content from your book and share it on social media over the course of a year. All the quotes, all the exercises, those little bullet points you have, the 3 ways to this and the 5 ways to that, that really cool story about what happened when you were a kid. You can share all that on social media, but you do it after you've written your book. After you've written your book. I hope you're fired up. I'm so fired up right now because this first time I'm teaching this way, and some of you know me and you've been following me for a really long time. In fact, we just looked this up today. There's one of you who might be here. There's one of you that's been on 16 of my live trainings. 16 of them. Six and hasn't signed up for Hope Books yet, which I think is crazy. 16 trainings, okay? This is the first time. This is the first time that I'm sharing that you should write your book before social media because that's what's true. That's just what's working. It's what we're seeing. Okay. So here's the traditional way. The traditional way is that you build your audience first. It's all about platform and that the author feels stuck. The author feels stuck. See, the dirty little secret that most people will never tell you is that when you do a traditional book, it feels very overwhelming because you have to promote it. You have to have a big book launch. Your publisher wants you to sell thousands and thousands and thousands of copies the first week. And that is exhausting. And that's like out of balance. And it's going to scare like it's going to wreck your life. I've seen it so many times that like it feels like you become this marketing machine. And nobody wants to be a marketing machine, right? Nobody wants to be a marketing machine. Instead, you can start with your book first. Start with your book first. So when you start with your book first, you write your book and it's about the message. It's about the message instead of the platform. And what happens, instead of feeling stuck, you gain momentum. You gain momentum. What we're seeing at Hope Books, we've now published 42 books in the last year. Type in 42 if you're with me. 42. We published 42. Thank you, Caroline. And thank you, Amy. 42. We published 42 books in the last year. Okay, so this is like hot off the press. 42 books. And what we're finding is that most of our authors sell more books in month two than they did in month one. They sell more books in month two than they do in month one. And the reason is because of momentum. Momentum. They get their book out, they share it with their friends and family, and they share it with their friends and their family and their friends and their family. And it's like the first circle, the second circle, the third circle, and so on. And the message of your book spreads because you're not here for the short term. You see it as a legacy. You see it as a legacy. And it's a lot clearer and a lot kinder to do it that way. So let me ask you a question. Do you want to be number 43? Do you want to have your book published before Christmas 2025? Listen, we've been going for 44 minutes tonight, and I just showed you how to write your book without social media, which is you write your book first and you use your book to publish your social media content. But I want to know, is it okay if I take a few minutes to tell you about Hope Books and why I think Hope Books is the best way for you to publish your book? Okay, awesome. Melody says, yes, I'm there. Okay, yeah, Alicia's like, I really do. So I'd love your permission to take a few minutes to tell you about Hope Books. Listen, I'm here to answer your questions. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I just want to tell you how it works to see if it's a good fit. It's not a good fit for everybody, but if you've been dreaming about writing a book for more than 5 years and you want to write at least one book, if not two books, then this would be a good fit for you. Yeah, this would be a good fit for you. Okay, you're stating something that's not manipulative. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Thank you, Marnie. Yeah, the publishing industry really is about big famous authors. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. There are people that have made a huge impact in my life. In fact, type in the chat an author that's made a big difference in your life because I think it's important to give honor where honor is due, right? Maybe for you it's Beth Moore or Lisa Turkhurst or John Bevere, Max Lucado, John Eldridge. Like there's an author that impacted your life. Yeah, I love that. How cool is that? Yeah. Now, here's the thing. When you write and publish your book, you might not reach millions and millions of people, but there's somebody that needs to hear your story. That's what I'm passionate about. That's why we started Hope Books, because Hope Books is here to help you publish your book, even without a big following. Even without a big following. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so let me tell you about Hope Books. Hope Books has three parts. Okay, three parts. Services of a traditional publisher. So yeah, you get the imprint Hope Books. You're on Amazon. The books are beautiful, beautiful covers. I mean, all of the things that a traditional publisher does, Hope Books does. Okay, so it's a real publisher. We also include the support of a coaching mastermind, which means you're in a group. You're with other authors. You're not by yourself. You're with other authors. Okay, so you're all in a group together. And then it also includes the savvy of a marketing agency. So not only do we publish your book and you're with a group of people, but we also show you how to get your book out into the world. How to get your book out into the world. So you might be wondering like what's included with Hope Books, right? So we include the full publishing services. So that's the developmental support, content edit, professional book cover, copywriting, formatting, printing, promotion, everything included that a publisher would do. Okay. If you did that on your own at the quality level, not self-published kind of like photocopied quality, but like professional quality, all of that is around a $30,000 value. Okay. So then we ask, well, what else do you need to get your book out in the world? Well, one of those things is creative control. It's so important, Alicia. It's so important, Sheena, that your book maintains your voice, that your voice remains intact throughout the book. You decide on your book cover, and you play a key role in the decision making. Did you know that most traditional publishers will pick their book cover even if the author disagrees? I don't believe in that. I want you to pick your book cover. I want you to love your book cover because it's your book, right? It's your book. So creative control, what's that worth? It's priceless, right? Yeah, Tamiko says, this is important for me. Absolutely. That's priceless. We also have this thing called an author management system. This is where you directly communicate with our team and you have complete visibility of the entire process. You can see all the steps and you know exactly what's coming up. So it doesn't feel overwhelming. Now we've built our author management system, so it's exactly 365, 365 days. Type in 365 if you're with me. 365. So if you sign up tonight for Hope Books, you can get started tomorrow, and in 365 days, you'll have your book in your hands. How cool is that? 365. 365 days. Now, some of our authors are doing it in 9 months. I mean, they're very committed and they put a lot of time. But others are taking a year or two, and that's totally fine. But we do have a 365-day process that will get your book written, published, and launched. Now, if you want to do it sooner, you can absolutely do it sooner. In fact, it only takes about 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day. Type in 30 minutes a day. Doesn't that sound great? Imagine if you could write your book and publish your book in a year in less than 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day. Yeah, you could do that. Now, Betty, that means probably an hour a day in order for you to get it done by September. That's right, just 30 minutes a day. Absolutely. Yeah. So our author management system, y'all, building that out, every step has a video, clear instructions, little assignments. We've really taken the whole process over 11 years and broken it down step by step. All of our experience with Hope Writers. If you don't know, I'm a co-founder of Hope Writers. We started Hope Writers back in 2015. So it's been 9 years. And over the last 9 years, we've learned everything it takes to publish a book. We've interviewed over 200 experts to create our author management system. Yeah, author management system. So surely that sounds like an individual question. I'm definitely happy to answer that at another time for sure. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, just send an email to support. We're happy to help you with that. So we also include a supportive community, supportive community. So in Hope Books, you are not alone. In fact, every single Wednesday we have a coaching call. We have a support call. So surely definitely hop on that, a support call every Wednesday at noon, and we want you to know that you're not alone. You also get access to our online community, so you have 24/7 support from your cohort community members. So these are other authors inside of Hope Books that are cheering you on, and you get to know your fellow authors who are on the journey with you. Now that's priceless as well, right? Creative control and supportive community. You couldn't pay for that. It really is priceless. So far, a $40,000 value. We have these weekly check-in calls, which are helpful, optimistic, personal, and equipping. One of my favorite parts of the week is our weekly Hope Books coaching call. Now that's a $3,000 value. We also include marketing and publicity. This is where you receive professionally branded assets for your launch, but it's not a big launch. It can be a slow launch, like we talked about. You get a book landing page. So you don't need social media. You can use your book landing page. We also share strategies to increase your sales, and we have our weekly marketing education. All of that. If you hired a marketing agency to work with you to publish your book and to launch your book, often they charge around $50,000. So all of that included $93,000 value. But the coolest thing about Hope Books is 50/50. Type in 50/50 if you're with me in the chat. 50/50. 50/50. That's right. See, here's the thing. It's your book. It's your book. Did you know the average publisher keeps 90% of the profit? That just never sounded right to me. That just never sounded right. You make a dollar, we make a dollar. We split it. we split it. So a royalty split of 50-50, and you get a quarterly report. So every quarter you get to see how many books you sold and get your royalty check. So there you go. That's everything that's included with Hope Books, $93,000 value. These are a few of our authors, Leah and Kim. They got to come by our Hope Bookstore a few weeks ago, and I just love the relationship that we have with our authors. So you might be wondering, Brian, how much does this cost, right? How much does this cost? Because obviously we've got our team, we've got our editors, we have our designers, we've got our the whole process, right? Our editing team, everybody. So how much does this cost to work with Hope Books? Well, see, some hybrid publishers, they'll require you to buy 3,000 copies of your book. Yeah. Um, 3,000 copies, but we don't do that at Hope Books. And there's other publishers out there that will get you to pay separately for every single service. And I've seen this time and time again, where it's like, okay, you can get this book cover for $500, but this book cover is $1,000. You're like, oh my goodness, I guess I have to get the good one. And they nickel and dime you, right? Yeah, Gloria says I've seen that too. And that sounds terrible. So we're not going to nickel and dime you. In fact, what we do is we see it as a coaching program. So that's where we charge a cohort tuition fee. Type in tuition if you're with me. Tuition in the chat. Tuition. That's how we see it. So basically what we have is we have a year-long tuition. It's a year-long coaching process, okay? And we show you every step along the way. We actually teach you how to write your book. We teach you how to market your book. We teach you how to do all the things to get your book out, even without social media. It's all step by step. It's all laid out for you. It's kind of like going and getting your master's degree. Can you get your master's degree for free? I don't think so, right? There's a tuition, but the tuition covers the professors and all the university fees and all those sorts of things. And that's how we see it at Hope Books. We charge a tuition fee for working with Hope Books instead of these other ways to do it. Now, your tuition fee covers everything here, right? This is everything that's covered. Yeah, Kim, I see you. So that is everything that's included with Hope Books. Your full publishing services, which is a $30,000 value, creative control, your author management system, your supportive community. Yeah, we do have payment plans too. So yeah, we do have financial aid as well. How cool is that, right? We have a weekly check-in calls, marketing and publicity, and sales implementation and a generous royalty model. It's a $93,000 value. $93,000 value. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, yeah, we've seen other publishers throw in a lot of fees. So we've seen publication fees range from 12,000 to 20,000 to $25,000. Now, the question is, would it be worth it? Okay, would it be worth it? I showed you that picture at the beginning. Would it be worth it for you to have your book in your hands by Christmas of next year, handing it out to friends and family for about the price of a car these days? I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Would it be worth it? Is it worth about the price of a car for you to have your book finally published after waiting for so long? I would love to hear from you. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you, right? It's up to you. Yeah, of course it's not in the budget, right? Nobody has $25,000 just sitting around, right? I totally get it. I totally get it. Yeah, Amy says that's a tough decision. So here's the thing. Our cohort tuition is 12 payments of 797. 12 payments of 797. You can join at hopebooks.com. Here's everything that's included in Hope Books. So you get your book published, you get to make all the choices about the creative control, what to call the book cover, all those sorts of things. You get the step-by-step author management system, which alone is a $10,000 value. But the best part, I think the best part, and those Hope Books authors that are with me tonight, is that the best part? I think it is. The community, right? The community. And here's the thing. Yeah, Margaret says, when I buy it, it depreciates. The thing about your book, I think I have some slides to show you. I'll show you in a second. Your book appreciates in value. Your book gets more valuable. You look at my great grandfather-in-law's book. 62 years later, people are still reading it. How cool is that? Imagine what happened to his car 62 years later. It's probably a big hunk of rust, right? So you can join Hope Books for only 12 payments of 797. See, we believe that the world needs your hope-filled words more now than ever before. Maybe it's writing your memoir. Maybe it's crafting your epic novel. Maybe it's sharing your how-to secrets. We have a seat at the table for you. We want to publish your book. I already shared my heart with you. My heart with you, my heart is to publish your book, to help you have your book in your hands by Christmas of next year. Now, yes, it costs money, it costs treasure, but it also costs time and it also costs talent. But more than that, it costs trust. So the question is, who are you going to work with? Like, how are you going to get this book published? You're going to try to figure it out on your own. Maybe go to more webinars, more training, more YouTube, maybe listen to another podcast, right? Like, how are you going to make this happen? We would love to work with you. We'd love to work with you. 42 books in the last 12 months. We know what we're doing and we're here to help you. So, yeah, we can walk through the payment plan for sure. So, I'm going to put it in the chat. Hopebooks.com. Hopebooks.com has all the information. Just go to hopebooks.com. This is what Dawn said about working with Hope Books. She published a book called From Guilt to Grace. I love this topic. Y'all, listen to this topic. Freedom and Healing for Christian Moms of Addicted Children. This is not the kind of book that's going to sell millions of copies, but she sold almost 1,000 copies so far. And she said, as soon as I heard about Hope Books, it immediately felt like the perfect fit for my needs, and it has been. Hope Books is the full package from development to cover design to marketing. It has pushed me just enough to keep me moving forward. I love the cohort and the team support. And the team support. I love that. I'm really proud of Dawn. And I would love to work with you as well. I would love to work with you as well. So let me give you a couple examples, Judy. Yeah, because I know finances are a challenge. Yeah, Karen, we do have a one-time payment and you can save. I think it's like save 15% when you do the one-time payment. Yeah. Okay, so Martha's book came out back in July. So that's August, September, October, November, December. So 5 months, okay? In 5 months, Martha's book that we published at Hope Books sold 2,192 copies. The average royalty on the books, which is 50/50, is $4, okay? $4, which means Martha so far has made $8,768. If you do the math, if she did the one-time payment for Hope Books, which is 7,997, so Martha's already made $800 from her book. But here's the thing. It came out 5 months ago. So now she has month 6, month 7, month 8. Every book she sells from now on is all pure profit. It's almost like a stock. It's like it grows in value over time. Do you get it? Type in got it if you get it in the chat. That you're paying that initial fee to get your book launched, to get your book published, but then your book is like an investment that it grows over time. And that's why I believe that you write your book before social media, without social media, because every time somebody sees your post and they go buy your book, that's another $4 in your pocket. And that adds up over time. Amy's got it now. Amy, thanks for sticking with me. I love it. Okay, let me give a couple more examples. This is Terry Brown. Terry Brown published her book with us in August. So that was 4 months ago. And Terry Brown, who did not have and still does not have a big social media following. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's 50/50. Right. 50/50. Yeah, Tina, thanks for the question. So, just like any publisher, the royalty is the life of the book, right? So that's the way that it works. But we do 50/50, not like 90% or 10%, 50/50. So Terry's book came out in August. She so far has sold 2024. Type that in the chat. How cool is that? My team member Hope just sent that to me. Type in 2024. In 2024, she sold 2024 copies. 2,024 copies. That's a royalty of $8,096, which means that she's made just about $100 so far, but she completely paid off her tuition. Okay. So imagine that. I mean, some people, I don't know about you, but some people have student loans like a decade later. So she's already paid off her entire tuition in Hope Books. And now every book she sells is an extra $4 in her pocket. How cool is that? Okay, I got one more, and then I'll take your questions. Lisa Plett. Lisa's book just came out. Lisa's book is Hope and Healing for Special Needs Moms. Get it? Special Needs Moms in a Stroke of Love Through a Mother's Eyes by Lisa Plett. Just came out. and she sold 1,823 units, 1,823 books, which is a royalty of $7,292. In other words, she's almost made her money back, and every book she sells from now on is profit. See, here's the thing. You could leave tonight's webinar going, I've got a plan. I'm going to figure this out by myself. And it's like, I'm just going to start writing my book and I'm going to publish my book. But in reality, this is life, right? If you agree, just type in life in the chat. That is life. That is life. Listen, good coaches tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. This is life. See, we don't know. Jesus said, don't worry about tomorrow because every day has enough troubles of its own. This is all the trouble. In life, I think it's in James, right? In life, you will have trials of many kinds. You will have trials. But here's the thing with a cohort, with coaching, and with a community, we won't let you quit. I'm going to say that one more time. With coaching, with a cohort, and with community, we won't let you quit. And so, even though you face the rocks and the trees and the water and the wind and the waves and all the challenges of writing and publishing your book at Hope Books, we won't let you quit. We are here to help you every step of the way. Every step of the way. We would love to work with you. I'm going to put it in the link in the chat. Just go to hopebooks.com, hopebooks.com to sign up. We would love to work with you. Now, I've got something really special for those of you that stuck around. Here we go. There we go. Type it in the chat. Hopebooks.com, hopebooks.com. Come join us at hopebooks.com. Here's the cool thing, okay? I talked to my team about this today. And I said, I want to do something really cool because I know that there are going to be people that are going to be on our call for an hour. It's been just over an hour, and they're going to want to join, but something's going to be holding them back. In fact, if that's you, you want to sign up, but then something's holding you back, just type in me. Just type in me in the chat. Man, I'm getting tired. I hope this has been valuable for you. Okay, it's past my bedtime. You want to sign up, but something's holding you back. Maybe it's the payment plan. Maybe you're like, I don't know if this is the right timing. Maybe you're like, I got to talk to my spouse or something like that, like whatever your thing is. And we always have something that's preventing us from making the decision. I totally get that. So I said to my team, and I'm like, I want to do something really cool that would just make it so easy for people to say yes, right? Because we take credit cards and we make that part easy. So here's the deal, okay? I'm gonna do something really special for you. If you sign up for Hope Books by 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. tomorrow, I really wanted to say tonight, but I'm gonna give you till tomorrow morning, okay? So I'm in the office tomorrow. I'm going to open up my email, see all the people that sign up for Hope Books by 9 a.m. So if you sign up for Hope Books, hopebooks.com, if you sign up for Hope Books, either payment plan or the paid in full, by 9 a.m. tomorrow, I'm going to do two things for you. Okay. Number one, I'm going to give you a free ticket to the Hope Story Conference. We have a conference coming up in January. So you get a free ticket to the Hope Story Conference. Okay. Number two is we're going to have a special reception just for our Hope Books authors. So you're getting invited to a special VIP reception at the conference. I'd love to meet with you. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your book. I'd love to give you a hug, take a picture with you, cheer you on in your journey. I want you to know that you have our full support. And so I wanted to make it just a really easy, no-brainer way to say yes. So we have 12 payments of $797. You get started tonight, $797. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, my Canadians, listen, I feel for you. Yeah, your economy is not doing well right now. I totally get it. I actually am a dual citizen. I grew up in Canada. So yeah, I totally get it. But we're an American company, so we charge American dollars. Hopebooks.com. So click on hopebooks.com. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to read through the descriptions of what our authors say about us. Okay. Proverbs talks about don't brag about yourself, let other people sing your praises. Okay. Hopebooks.com. Let me share my screen. I think here we go. Okay. Here's what you do. You go to hopebooks.com. There you go. You see Rebecca. Rebecca published a book with us. Her book, she actually wrote her book with her husband. So you could write your book with your spouse or with your daughter, what have you. She's the main author. So she showed up at all the coaching calls and that sort of thing. She published her book with Hope Books, and we have tuition payment plans available. And I want to show you how that works. So go to hopebooks.com. You can read all the information I covered here. You can see Melanie, who published a fiction book with us. She said, before Hope Books, I was trying to do all the things at once, but the promise of coaching through the process reassured me that I would not be left to figure it all out on my own. Ultimately, it feels like a partnership between the authors and the publisher. That's right. So Melanie published her book, super proud of her. You can see your book gets on Amazon. It's available for Prime delivery. So we do all those things, okay, like a traditional publisher does. Everything is included. And our authors love working with us. So you can actually click the button and play those videos, and they'll talk about their experience about Hope Books. In fact, Larry Fitzgerald was 88 years old when he published his book with Hope Books. So it's not too late if you're feeling like, is this too late? It's not too late. Larry did it when he was 88. Annie Weber, she wrote her book with Hope Books. Dawn Ward, I mentioned her before. You can see what all of our authors say about working with Hope Books. So you can see our team there. Everything's included. And here's what you do, okay? Nancy is here live with us. So Nancy, I put your little quote there on on the page. So you click on I'm ready to publish my book. And then all you do is just fill in this form, tell us a little bit about you and about your book, okay? And then watch this. All right. Then it's going to take you to this page right here. And this is where you get to, and I'm going to show you how this works. Okay. So these are the two options. You can either make the single payment where you save 1567, or you can do the 12 payments. Okay. You can do the 12 payments right here. Awesome. Just checking the chat. Okay. Yeah, if you got a book series, that's a great question. You just start with the first book. Just start with the first book. We don't have to publish book two. You can do whatever you want with book two, but we want to show you. That's why it's a training program. We want to show you how to publish that book, how to write and publish that book. Okay. Now, if you're thinking, you know what, I actually want to do like a longer payments. I want to show you how to do that. Okay. So you could do the 12 payments of 797. You could do the single payment of 79.97, or here's what you do. I just want to show you this quick hack. You click on the one pay, but you'll notice that we have something called Klarna. So Klarna will allow you to break up the payments. You can break up the payments into even longer than the 12 months. So if you're like, I really want to join, but I can only afford a couple $100 a month, Klarna is the answer. Okay, that's how to do it. You click on the one pay and then you click on Klarna, you get a fill in a little form and it'll do that credit check. Y'all, it's kind of like buying a car, right? $8,000 car. Like that's what we're talking about. This is something that's worth investing in. Your book is worth investing in. We would love to meet you halfway. And it really does cost about $25,000 to publish a book. So that's why we only charge around that $8,000 range, that 12 payments of 797, because we want to help you get that book published and launched, get it out into the world. You make 50%, we make 50%. So that's kind of the way that we structured it. Instead of charging you $20,000 like other people do, we charge you way less than half of that. And then we just split the profits. How cool is that, right? So hopebooks.com. If you have questions, I'm going to answer your questions here. Just hopebooks.com, click it right there. Yeah, PayPal, you can do it in 4 payments. Yeah, you could definitely do that too. Awesome. Okay, Jana says, how many different social media sites should one use? One? Yeah, I think anything more than one or two could be really overwhelming. My favorite social media is just my Facebook profile. It's a great question. Awesome. Who else has a question? Type it in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, Betty, you could do PayPal payments as well. Absolutely. You can start at any time, but the bonus that I just mentioned is good for right now. I've never offered that bonus before, but our conference is coming up and I would love to meet you in person. That'd be so fun. Absolutely. Okay, let me ask you a question for those that are still with me, okay? Here we go. 59 people still with me. So you're in probably three buckets right now, okay? Either you're in, so if you're in, type in in. I'm going to do this. I'm in. If you're already an author with us, type in in. If you're like, I'm really going to do this, I just got to figure out one thing out or I got to talk to one person, but I know I'm in, type in. I'm in the chat. Just type in IN, I'm in. Okay. Or you're out. You're like, this isn't for me. I'm going to publish myself, or I'm going to try to get a book deal, or I'm not ready yet. You just type in out. Okay. Let your yes be yes, let your no be no. So in, I'm in, out, I'm out. Or you're on the fence. You have a question. You're not sure about something. You got to figure something out. Just type in fence. So either in, out, or fence. Just type it in the chat. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. We believe that clarity is kindness. We're here to answer your questions. Awesome. Yeah. Betty says, I'm in on the fence. Yeah, totally with you. Okay. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yeah. I'm here to answer your questions. What is the one question you have that if you had the answer, you would now know I'm in or I'm out? All right. So I'm in or I'm out. Janice, our results are our qualification. I don't really believe in certification, right? There's a lot of how do I say this in the nicest way? I have my doctoral degree in education, so it's sometimes it feels like the more educated somebody is, the less wise they are. I don't know if I can say that. Does that sound offensive? I don't really believe in like there's a certification for editing. There really isn't. It's about experience. And so we published 42 books in the last 12 months, and our authors love working with us. I think that's all the certification or credentials that we need, right? But that's a really good question. Yeah, Carolyn says, how much support do you offer during the marketing phase? Yeah, absolutely. It's great. So we have, yeah, it's not about degrees. Um, I actually love marketing because marketing is simply communicating a message that you care about to people that you care about. So there's three ways we support you in terms of marketing. Number one is we have our coaching calls. So our coaching calls often cover marketing strategies and we answer your questions to support you. So marketing calls. Number two is we have our training program. So you get access to our training programs. We show you how to do a book launch, how to build book bonuses, how to have a Facebook group. But these are all after your book, right? So social media comes after your book. So that's number two. And then number three, we provide you with a book trailer and graphics and a book landing page. So those are the three ways that we help you with the marketing of your book. It's a really good question. Awesome. Yeah, Nancy says my Hope Books editor was so helpful. Awesome. Yeah, Janice, we're open. Listen, as long as it's a hope-filled book, okay? We don't have a faith requirement. We're not a Christian publisher. I'm a Christian, but we don't just publish Christian books. We publish books that are hopeful or helpful, optimistic, personal, and equipping. Those are the books that we publish. They're mostly narrative, word-based books, although we did recently launch a picture book cohort, which is really cool. So we are publishing picture books now. But what we're talking about tonight, what I walked you through tonight, is for what we'd call like a trade paperback book, kind of your standard 55,000 word book. Those are really our sweet spot. In fact, let me go to over to Amazon and I'll show you. Let's see, Hope Books. Here we go. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yep, yep, yep. So just to show you, like, yeah, like proof is in the results, right? So if you go to Amazon, I just typed in Hope Books on Amazon. You can see there's 48 results. Now, not all these are our books. Some of these are ads, but Kristen published her book in November 5th, and you can see her book. I think it's gorgeous. Breathing Again right here. You can see it's Kindle, hardcover, and paperback. So there you go. So we designed the book cover. You can see right there the HB for Hope Books, and and then a bunch of these other books that show up are our Hope books. So Breathless Haste by Rebecca. Leah wrote Freedom to Feel. Terry, I mentioned before. Mark Medley wrote Walking Through Grief. So I click on Walking Through Grief, and you can see, sure enough, yeah, he published this book with Hope Books. If I go to see all details, you can see Hope Books right there. He published it back in November of last year. It's on Christian death and grief. So it's a really powerful book. And this is what we do at Hope Books. So we do the book cover, handle all the distribution. But check this out. This is called the Amazon Plus page. Not all publishers do this. We just think it's really important to support you from a marketing perspective. So it says from the publisher, and we created these graphics for Mark that are on his book details page on Amazon. So it just looks really professional, which I think is really important. So that's one way to check. Just go to Hope Books or just go to Amazon and type in Hope Books. Awesome. Yeah, Carolyn, that's the average amount of words for a trade book is about 50 to 55,000 words. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Tina, it's never the right time. It's only today. That's all you have. So you just have to decide. Please share the details on the cohort. Okay, great question, Betty. The cohort. So what that means is that's the group of authors that are all gathering together. So the cohort is now open for enrollment. So you sign up at hopebooks.com. Let me put the link in there one more time. Sign up at hopebooks.com, and what you'll do is you'll get invited into our online community. So this is our group, our online group. There's two components to that. Number one is we have a weekly call, a weekly Zoom call, where you get to introduce yourself and see the other authors that are working with us. Okay. We just launched last week for our new cohort, and we had 5 people sign up last week already, which is really fun. And they introduce themselves. And so when you sign up tonight, you get your free ticket to the Hope Story Conference. You get that special author meetup, and then you can join us on our call on Wednesday, which would be really fun. So that's you get the weekly Zoom call, and then you also get access to our online community, so you can see all the other authors. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Carolyn, for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Other questions. You insist on paperback as well as Kindle. We do all of them. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, if you're going to publish your book in 2024, don't just do Kindle because, it's a good idea to do Kindle, but a lot of people want to hold the book. Anybody? Okay, let me ask you a question. What's your favorite way of reading a book? Type in the chat. Is it Kindle? Is it paperback? Or is it hardcover? Those are your three options. Type in the chat. Paperback, hardcover, or Kindle. Yeah. See, there you go. Most people are saying paperback, but a couple Kindles. That's just great. So we do all the Kindle formatting. We've got a great formatter that we've been working with for all our books. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that we take care of as your publisher. So we have a whole process of how do you take your Word document and then go through all the editing and then get your book formatted. And it's formatted in 3 different files. There's the hardcover file, the paperback file, and the Kindle file. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, let's see. Tina and Carolyn are having a whole little side conversation. Okay, I'm not sure if I should answer. So you can ask me. I'm here. Tell me about the January conference. Okay, hopestoryconference.com. There you go. That's the link for it. All the details are there. And you get a free ticket if you sign up for Hope Books by 9 a.m. tomorrow. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Audible. Okay, what we do with audiobooks, we do publish audiobooks. Once you've sold 1,000 copies, we called it the 1K award. Once you've sold 1,000 copies, like Carrie and Martha, who else did I show you tonight? Terry, Mary. So many of our authors have sold that 1,000 copies. Then we unlock a little project, which is your audiobook project. So we show you exactly how to record your audiobook and we publish your audiobook. Yeah. Well, one-on-one coach, we include 2 one-on-one coaching calls with a certified coach. Yeah, great questions. Y'all are asking great questions. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap up. Here's the thing. I want you to click on hopebooks.com. Sign up with us. Sign up with us. We would love to publish your book. Listen, this is your wake-up call. Okay. So many of you have been waiting, and you're weary in the waiting. In fact, if you've been weary, type in weary in the chat. You've been weary in the waiting. You've been waiting a really long time to publish your book. You've been dreaming about publishing your book, and you've been waiting for a sign. This is your sign. This is it right here. I'm knocking on the door right now. I have been called as a messenger of hope to say to you, now is the time to write your book. If now is not the time, then when's the time? When's the time? This is your moment. It's time for you to write and publish your book. We've created an amazing system. It's really affordable if you think about it. It's like 12 payments of 797. You can put it on a credit card. You could do PayPal financing. You could talk to our team about figuring out a different way to pay for it. Like we can help you make it happen. But it's about, are you going to step into writing your book? I'm not trying to pressure you at all. I'm just here to tell you now is the time for you to write your book. This is your moment to write your book. Okay. So you've been on with me for an hour. As I mentioned, we saw somebody that had signed up for 16 of these trainings and still hadn't said yes yet. And so I'm like, this is it. Like, this is your moment to sign up to say yes. And what I like to think about is what will your life be like? What will your life be like in 1 year from now? Either you have more questions and more questions and more questions, or you take that leap of faith and say, you know what, Judy, you say, I'm just going to trust. And I might not have all my questions answered, but I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to move forward and I'm going to publish my book. So you can sit in your questions and just have questions and questions and questions. Or you can say, you know what? 42 books in 12 months. I'm going to trust that. I'm going to look on Amazon, type in Hope Books. I'm going to see, look, I can find Carrie's book. I can find Leah's book. I can find all these books. I want to be like that. I want to be book number 43. Okay. So that's up to you. Yeah, you want to, Gloria wants to turn her testimony into a book. This is your moment. So come join us at hopebooks.com. At hopebooks.com. Yeah, see, Jackie, you're asking questions like, what happens to my book after I die? Like, that's not the issue. The issue is what will you do while you live, right? Sign up for your book right now. I think the technical answer is it goes to your will, whoever your next of kin is, right? But this is your, that's the funniest question I've gotten. I'm trying to be serious about it. But like, there's always a reason not to. There's always a reason not to. If you look hard enough right now, my friends, you're going to find a reason not to do hope books. You're going to say, whatever it is. But I want to say, you know what? Sometimes your reason is actually just an excuse. It's a reason wrapped up in a story. Instead, what if you said yes and you said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning after you put in that first 797 on a credit card right now. You go to hopebooks.com. You type in that Visa, that MasterCard, that Discover card, and you go, oh, I did it. Okay. Take a deep breath. Okay. And then you get our welcome email and you get in our online group and you come to our call and you meet all the other authors and you say, wait a second, this isn't so bad. And you start writing your story and you start making progress. And then you pick your book cover. You're like, wait a second, this is actually working. And then my favorite moment is you get your author copies in the mail. You get your box of books, you open them up, you hold your book in your hand for the first time. That's what we're talking about tonight. If that has stirred your heart and you're like, I know that I want to do that, what if you said yes? Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a dream, a desire fulfilled is a tree of life. A desire fulfilled is a tree of life. I would love you to have that, to leave that legacy for your family, to give your mom a copy of that book by next Christmas. That's why I'm here. I hope you're here too. All right. Come join us. Come join us. Go to hopebooks.com. Listen, if you want to talk to one of our team members, okay, you're still here. It's at 9:24. You've been with us for an hour and a half almost. And you're like, I got another question. I want to talk to my team. I want to tell you where you can go to ask your questions. I'm going to put it in the chat right here. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So we have an amazing team. And you can go to hopebooks.com/call and you can schedule a call with Liz, Savannah, or Ashley. And you just go to hopebooks.com/call. I'm going to show you how this works. Okay. Fill in your information. I want to talk about my book. Okay. Then you hit continue. And then it's going to take you to the calendar and you can find a time that works for you. So, like, literally, you can call tomorrow. Like, I want to talk to them at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and you hit confirm, and it's going to schedule a call for you and one of our team members. We would love to talk with you about your book. We believe that you have a story of hope to share, and we'd love to work with you. Just go to hopebooks.com/call. Okay, one more time, and we're going to wrap it up. In, out, fence. Type it in the chat. I'm in. Brian, I'm in. I'm signing up. This is amazing. Number two, I'm out. This isn't for me, Brian. Not for me. I got a lot of other things that are more important. This isn't my number one priority right now. Or I'm on the fence. Janice, Jackie, Betty, awesome. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share this chat with our team. So type in the reason you're on the fence right now. Is it time? Is it finances? Is it I don't know if I can trust Brian? What is the reason? Yeah, because of finances. Thank you. Yeah, because our team can be creative. Maybe we can find a way to make it work. Yeah, Tina says time. Usually it's time or finances. Yeah, yeah, you can do something like Book Baby. You're just not going to get the support. You're just not gonna, they're a big, big, big company. It's gonna basically be like self-publishing. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. It's so funny when I talk to people that are like retired or they're on fixed income, stuff like that, I just ask like, well, wouldn't it be worth it? Like, wouldn't it be worth it to do a home equity line? Wouldn't it be worth it to pull from your retirement? Like, what are you using that retirement for? My mom's retired and she's in Germany right now, and it's cost her about $8,000 for this trip. And it's like, okay, you could go to Germany or you could have your book in your hands. Like you could have your book in your hands. Like how cool would that be? Right? How cool would that be? Okay. Yeah, Margaret, you can have that, but there might be somebody who wants to support you with this. Yeah. I'm not trying to minimize it, but I am trying to encourage you. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you're here. Go ahead and sign up tonight. Come join us or schedule a call. Okay. hopebooks.com/call. I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you for being here. Make the decision. Let your yes be yes and no be no. Make the decision. I'm so glad that you're here. Have a great night.